Hello everybody, in today's video I'm going to review Crystal Linux. So when you boot into Crystal Linux, you're greeted by this screen. If you click on start, it will start with the installation. It has a pretty beautiful interface which is based on I guess GTK 4 libadwaita. So it goes with the current desktop. We will go to the desktop after a little bit because it has a unique desktop, and just search for the time zone, whatever you need. So for my case, I guess it will be Kolkata, and here we have the time zone. Click next. Then we need the keyboard layout. Just search for the correct keyboard layout, apply it and hit next. Choose a username, a password, and then re-enter the password, and also enable super user account. And from here you can select the desktop. Currently it is selected as Onyx. We can enable or disable time shift from here. You have the option for entering the host name, and then click on there. You can select the hard drive, or you can switch to manual partitioning. Now if I click next after this, it will start the installation of the hard drive, but I don't want to install it on my system now, so let me just cross and get out of here. And what is Onyx? Onyx is basically, if you go to their website, Crystal Linux, I don't know what they are trying to do with this, but they have named this kind of thing as Onyx. So it installed Crystal with its in-house desktop experience, a custom GNOME session with a familiar layout, or choose your favorite. Now it just uses some extensions that are there. For example, you get these two different things that are added to it, like the caffeine and the Arch updates indicator. From here, those are the two things that has been added. And if you want, you can like disable the dash to panel. If you disable that, it will head and like change the position to back here, but due to some reason the dash to panel cannot be changed or deleted. Also caffeine cannot be deleted, so these are like permanently enabled in this system. So even if you close this application and head over to like the extensions page, you get the same problem, so you can't disable it. Now I don't know what is the reason for doing this. Like you have a bunch of options that like look to be edited, looks like they can be edited but they can't. So that is Onyx. It's basically having a different GNOME shell. It looks like partly taken from Budgie and GNOME, kind of a mix of both the world. Next we have the automatic backups. The backups and restores on a system can be stored, or like they can be done automatically. You can easily boot into BTRFS snapshot. So let's go to search and let's see if we have it installed. Time shift is not installed by default in the live system. Obviously you don't need time shift in the live system, but then comes Amethyst, which is a fast, efficient and lightweight AUR helper and Pacman wrapper. It is made for Crystal and is compatible with any Arch-based Linux distribution. There is also a dedicated page on GitHub related to Crystal Linux /Amethyst, and there you can get all the basic usage, such as for installing a package or for removing a package. These are the things that you get, and they are also available with the Pacman style flags, so you can install easily like you do in Pacman. For example, Pacman SYU or S, anything for installing the package, or for upgrading, or for searching for a package, a query, whatever you do, they are very well relatable to the Pacman styles. Then it also gives you an idea of the exit codes, that is ranging from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 63 for any other miscellaneous errors, and also the reasons that are there present here. So there is also this page, this part, which helps you install Amethyst on non-crystal distros, so that can also be done. And yeah, that is Amethyst. When you open the terminal, you get this thing over there. Now I guess it is using the dark edition, if I'm not wrong. If I open files, it's using the dark edition, but for the first time I find that the terminal is like not in the dark edition. But however, whatever happens, the terminal like always shows up as the in dark mode, but in this case it is set as light mode. Anyway, then we have a cow say, which is saying don't forget to set up Wi-Fi in the settings app if required. And then it looks kind of cluttered when you first open the terminal. Currently I am using it on my VMware. I could not use it on my default system like on bare metal, because I could run it as a live operating system, but unfortunately it ran out of space after installing OBS, so I couldn't open OBS for the recording purpose. Hence, couldn't test it out there. Couldn't make the video there, but I did test out this operating system there. We have some applications installed by default. One of them is calendar, which is there. Okay, this is calendar. So let me see if it does not have that side panel because it uses an older version of the calendar, I guess, which is 42.2 edition. Did you see that it just hanged, I guess? But whenever I open the about calendar page, it just crashes and closes the entire operating system. So there is some problem with that. Anyway, it's the default GNOME calendar which it uses. And then we have the file manager, which again is probably based on 42.2. Again, we run into the problem after we open the about page. There we have credits and all. And by default, it uses the libadwaita icon theming, the latest one, which kind of looks much better than the beige theme which was used previously, which I didn't like, but this goes quite well and looks very much more. Then we have the softwares app, from where you can download lots of softwares and all. Just search and download them. So it is very handy. This is the softwares application. Let it download the software catalog. And then we have weather. Obviously helps us in seeing the weather. You can search for the city or the country over here. And for example, for my case, it would be Kolkata, India. And you can see for hourly, daily, all sorts of weathers available here. And due to some reason, we don't have disk space. This is a very big problem in the live version, so we don't get enough disk space available for doing all the work properly. But anyway, that's not an issue if you want to install this operating system. And then we have the clocks. Obviously you can go for alarm, stopwatch, timer, and the world clocks. Now if you go to the about page, obviously it uses the 42 version of the clock, 42nd version of the clock. Then we have the extensions app, which I have walked you all through it, which I don't know why it is not working properly. Let's give it another try. Let's try to disable it. Yeah, now it works. Due to some reason it wasn't working there. So if I turn off dash to panel, turn off caffeine, so it looks almost very much similar to the default GNOME experience. So terminate as Onyx as a different kind of looks like a different or new desktop environment, whatever they have created, but it's actually not. But it's using just a theme, just a different shell theme on top of GNOME. Now they have clearly mentioned it over there on their website. Also, you can enable the user themes from here so that you can install any kind of shell theme. So that is something. And there are lots of installed extensions which can be enabled from the extensions page. And then we have gedit, then we have Firefox, gparted, settings. Anyway, if we open gedit, it's basically the gedit app that we all have. That is the 42.2 version of gedit. And the text editor app, which has the more modern libadwaita user interface, is not available here due to some reason. And then we have the gparted, which helps us in the disk management. Here we have it. So we have an unallocated disk over here, and another one that is the booting ISO file. Finally, let's open the settings application, which is the basic settings application you get with GNOME. So if you go to the about page, you will see the big logo of Crystal Linux. Along with that, you will see the specifics or specifications of your system, like for example the processor, the graphics. As you can see, it's doing some software rendering and not hardware. This has a reason, because if you go for hardware rendering on VMware, due to some reason the Linux distributions just don't work properly for me. So you can go for it just for testing it out, but I guess running it under software rendering with 3D acceleration disabled is much better. Anyway, there you find it. That is the Crystal Linux with build ID as rolling, and the virtualization is based on VMware using the X11 windowing system. You all know about these options that are there, very much similar. If you go to the displays, you'll get to change the resolution over here, And if you head over to appearance, there are several cool wallpapers, the default GNOME wallpapers, but there are none of the Onyx wallpapers that they could have provided to match with the theme, with the shell theme. Anyway, there is the light and the dark version of this theme. The dark is selected by default. I can also go to the light version. The change is very swift and fast and much better. And for other applications that are installed, like the system monitor, the system monitor, the system load, that is going to be shown. So let's see who has the highest CPU ID. The CPU percentage, that's definitely GNOME shell, using about 2% of the CPU as maximum, which just jumped up to 4.56. And then we have utilities, which has the disk usage analyzer, disks, image viewer, document viewer, archive manager, characters and font, which are very much self-explanatory. And then we have micro, which is a terminal for some reason, but kind of looks a bit weird due to some reason. So if you go to about, you will see the GNOME terminal page is appearing over there. So that is something which might get implemented in the next builds in a proper manner. Then we have the Qt-v4L2 test utility and the capture utility of Qt-v4L2. I guess these are not applications, obviously no. And finally we have Vim, our very lovely text editor. Just click on it and start editing. So in what way do I find this interesting? First of all, it uses a different shell theme of GNOME. So it provides a different user interface out of the box, which again, those are all controlled by the extensions. But at the same time, I think that it makes kind of more sense than the default GNOME shell, where when you press the super key, it just enters the activities window instead of showing all the applications there. So that is kind of annoying sometimes. So in this case, you press the super key, you enter the application menu, you click open application and run it very easily. So that is an advantage of Onyx. But at the same time, these are all controlled by extensions, so you can also do them manually on your system. But if you want to download the ISO, just click on download. It will take you to this page and there you have the ISO. This is the file you want. Just click on it and download will start automatically.